Welcome to the Effects Loop. I'm Diaz.
I'm Scott.
We're keeping you in the loop with the guitar community. It's not a little chipper than keeping you in the loop. Woo!
Yeah, I was hoping I'd sound chipper. Actually, this is probably the best I've felt in weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Electromotive Soundco. Go to electromotivesound.com to get the Clone V3. Well, I said something that was pretty cool about it. And what was our little tagline thing?
Did you create a tagline for him?
Yes.
I don't remember this.
It was. I mean, it'll be easy to find because it'll be in the first something seconds of a. I don't know. Anyways, go check it out. It's an amazing pedal that I think all of us. Have you gotten the V3 yet? Or are you still on the V2?
I don't have a V3 yet.
You don't have the. Okay.
I have his KTR.
Yeah, that's right. Because we both did something with like kind of one-off pedals, each on our own. And then, because wait, so you don't have a clone at all?
I don't have a clone at all.
You need to get one.
Dude. I do. I have almost all of his other pedals at this point. But yeah.
I don't even use pedals much anymore.
Same.
So.
But they're there and they're fantastic. And I'm not going to lie. His KTR, I can't really tell a difference between that and my Klon. Like, I have a real Klon.
Well, you have a real KTR.
I have a real KTR, which is a real Klon.
Okay, all right. But when people say Klon, they're assuming the Centaur.
I don't. Yeah, I don't have a OG big box Centaur. No.
Yeah. Okay.
And I never will.
That is honestly, like, now would I love to be there one day where I could spend stupid? Yeah. If I had the money like to blow, I might get one just to have it.
I have so many things that I could spend that money on.
Yeah.
In gear. That are so far in front of me jumping on an OG Klon.
I know, but how else will people know a douchebag besides talking to me? I want them to know without me.
Thank you for making that self-reflective and not like a shot at me, because like it could have gone that way.
It could have,
and I'm just totally appreciating that it was self-deprecating.
Yeah, of course. Like, I wasn't just gonna. Wait, I was the one who was talking about getting it. Like. You were literally the one saying you don't want to, and I'm like, I don't know, I would do it.
You know the classic, like, a musician drives with more gear than the car is worth.
Yeah.
And
was it drives 500 miles?
Yeah,
with $6,000 worth of gear in a $1,000 car for $100 in pay.
Could you imagine having a pedal that's worth more than your car?
I mean, in all fairness, at some point I might have. I've driven some shitty cars before, but no.
Yeah. Anyway, what's new with you?
I don't know. I don't think anything.
I mean, last we talked to you, you just got
the LT
back, and you were diving back into the Helix world.
Yeah. Oh. So new. So I went. I think I mentioned it on the podcast. Someone I used to play with reached out to me.
Oh yeah.
And asked if I would be willing to come possibly join their worship team. And so I went and visited the church last week. I enjoyed it. I was very upfront and honest on how I'm still a little standoffish with church. And just kind of all the stuff. And seeing as he was with me at the church that I last went to and was there whenever the church closed down. And
yeah, so, he gets some of the baggage.
Oh, he gets it. And it was, and I just told him, I was just upfront and honest. I was like, and especially because there's a lot of churches that have requirements for being on the worship team and stuff like that. And, I told him, I said, I don't plan on changing myself. I said, I've done that where I changed myself, to be on a worship team. I said, but this is where I'm at. I said, I still have like the foundations of faith rooted in me. But beyond that, I don't know where I'm at. He was like, no, I get it. He's like, it's all good. He's like, you can still come play. I was like, okay.
There you go. So, that you're welcome there until they get a real Christian.
Yeah, a real Christian. Well, no, I mean, because the big thing is, because I even asked him, I was like, because I went and visited Sunday. They had two guitar players on stage. I was like, what do you need me for?
Mhm.
And he was like, well, he's like, this so-and-so only does this so often, and so-and-so that's not really where they want to be. And this person's leaving and all that. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I'll be honest. He's like, everyone else only does it like once a month. He's like, and I know you. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I'll be there pretty much every week.
Yeah, I'm not that type of person that can do it once every week. I burn out.
See, but yeah, I don't. But it's one of those things where it would be nice. It would be weird for me because every worship team I've been on has been like I'm there every week, and for me to sit out would feel almost like just coming from almost like a traumatic response from just the churches I've been in before. I would feel guilty. You know what I mean? I'd feel bad because you I don't know if you've ever been in one of those worship teams where it's pretty much like if you're like I really need a week off, you feel bad for it, or they make you feel bad, or they don't like try to be nice and reassure you.
Oh, so we refer to those as toxic environments, Diaz.
Yeah.
Because you're a volunteer, and they're lucky to have you help, not.
So that was like one
entitlement.
of the
Man, we're deep diving on this one now. Okay.
Yeah. No. All right. So like, because that was one of the things. So the church that I was at when it ended, the last church I actually was like attending and participating in, I had left that church at one time before because me and the pastor kind of got into it because I was not in a financial place to tithe like faithfully. But also I was a volunteer who spent hours and hours every week at the church and doing stuff. And it was like one of those I kind of felt, I was like, it was pretty rough.
Yeah.
I don't know if we were doing the podcast when I left.
You were playing somewhere when we started the podcast. I don't know if that was there, but like, yeah. We talked a little bit about this. I switched places where I'm involved with, and one of the things I did really early on of being involved with them was like, all right, cool. You have other guitar players, and I'm never going to try to make an exclusive or, try to be the top guy or like, I'm just going to be here. I'm just going to chill, and I'm going to be okay with that. And like, I'm going to realign my goals of where like jealousy and like my insecurity is. And that reset's been wonderful. And to the point where now I'm actively like, all right, pick somebody else. Yeah. And like actually kind of sometimes holding my church at like an arm's length to say there needs to be need for somebody else for you to invest in them. And it's not about me investing in them. It's about you investing in them. And, and this is not me quitting. This is me leaving room for other people.
Right.
Because there was a little bit of that where I was like, I was starting to really feel a lot of pressure with them, and I was just like, no. This is not exclusive. I'm not going to be here every week. I'm going to have limits. Yeah. And, if that means I'm not your top pick anymore, fine. As well. So
then you just get what you want.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't visited. I'm going back to church tomorrow. We're recording on a Saturday, which is not common for us, but.
No, but it's Labor Day weekend, and I have plans. So,
yeah, I don't. But
well, I've been locked inside for a week plus.
Yeah, that's right.
Having any human interaction. So, like, I am going to go enjoy my Monday of safe outdoor activity. And by safe, I mean we're going to go drink on a boat. So, like, we'll see how that goes. Boat. Yeah, with the girlfriend's friends. So we'll see how that goes. Like, I get along with my girlfriend's friends. That's not the. We'll see how it goes. It's the how sunburned am I going to get? Question.
Wait. Where's your girlfriend's friends? But your girlfriend's not going to be there, right?
No, she'll be back.
Oh, okay.
If you're on our Patreon, she called into the show. So.
Oh, that's Monday. Today's Saturday. Okay. Once again. Yeah. No. Well, yeah. We like hopped on that.
She's flying back tomorrow. Like I get to. We'll be okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so tired. All right. I guess we should start. Wait. What's new with you? Did we ask?
I bought some IRs, and I've been fooling around with them, and I think I figured out a way to do this. So I've been trying to get a way to get my Z-Rack to sound correct through a 2-notes.
Okay.
Because the Z-Rack has mismatched speakers. It has an Alnico Blue and it has an Alnico Gold. And so I've been trying to find a way of properly, doing a sim with both the blue and the gold.
Okay.
With limited success. I actually have a success of I was able to get 2 good impulse responses made and stacked together in my 2-notes. So still working through it. I have a few other ideas of like weird experiments I'm doing. But yeah, been doing that. When a friend was in town last week, I was left alone with his 2-rock for a day.
Oh, I know that friend.
Yeah, so I also have some profiles of that. So some fun things.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've got to get some good patches set up for church.
The classic, if you haven't looked at the Dave Hillslop,
yeah.
Those are a good place to start. So are the worship tutorials ones where, it's a Vox and a Fender together is the tone.
Yeah, I want to find a good like stereo setup because they run all of their stuff stereo.
Yeah. 2 amps, like just hard panned.
Yep.
Is a great way to do stereo in a church where
that was definitely the thought and the plan.
It gives you a lot more width. If they're just panning you to both to one side, obviously make sure they stack. Like you're not having weird phase mismatch issues. So like try running them in mono and then split them to stereo. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they already have, like last week, both players were using Helix.
Nice.
So there was a floor and then a LT.
Yeah.
So like they're already pretty much set, ready to go. Like everyone just pretty much. I think the LT that they have is pretty much like the church one that stays there.
Yeah.
But the that was like I was watching the guy who was playing lead, and he grabbed his Helix and left, and I was like, that's what I want to do.
Nice. Yeah, my church has 2 Kempers for the guitars, and I'm the only person who really knows how to use a Kemper there anymore. And I don't even use a Kemper that much. So.
Yeah, because you use the Quad Cortex when you're there.
Yep. And so everyone else is on like a Helix. The Stomp. HX Stomp is what pretty much everyone else has.
Mm-hmm.
And now,
I don't know, the Stomp's pretty good, but yeah.
There's something in the transients about the amp that keeps me off of Helix. It's so convenient, and like it's still one of the best deals out there. And if I were building a board from scratch, I'd really consider it. But there's something about the way amp captures get the transients of amps really right.
Yeah.
That keeps me locked in that world. And I've seen other people because I prioritize the amp a lot. I've seen other people be like, no, it's the effects that matter a ton.
That is definitely something that goes for me, even though I use pretty much the same effects. But overall, I feel like once you start burying it, those little nuances and stuff that you're referring to just kind of go away.
Yeah, if you're a super big modulation person, particularly, that's where I think a lot of that goes away. Whereas I don't use a ton of modulation.
Yeah, I use some of the effects I use very common is I use chorus some, and then especially delay. For church, definitely delay, reverb.
I'm basically
Leslie.
Reverb. I don't use a Leslie ever.
I do. I love it. I love a fast spinning speaker.
I use tremolo. And
I don't use tremolo.
I use tremolo a lot.
The only time I use tremolo is when I'm doing like Rage Against the Machine stuff.
Oh, I like a slow warbling tremolo.
No.
Adds a lot of body to like an Edge of Breakup kind of tone.
Yeah. I don't know. But
if you love chorus so much, maybe we should talk about this new chorus pedal for Mythos.
I was just seeing how long if we would just do the whole episode without even talking about gear news. Oh,
we could.
But I don't know if people.
But it's been 2 weeks, and so people are like hankering for some, right? Like
hankering.
Mm-hmm.
You hankin'. All right. Yeah, Mythos has the Fates.
Yeah, it is a true Bucket Brigade tribute to an old Japanese style choruses.
Mm-hmm. 2 large black chicken head knobs for rating depth. Yeah.
And 2 different modes.
Chorus and vibrato, which is getting like everyone's got that. I dig it. It's very simple.
It's very simple. And it's an interesting one because like, does Mythos have unified branding now? Because this is a departure from like their classic looks, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they have unified branding much. I will say this though. I hope this pedal's not over. I feel like $189 is like the
$229.
I mean, it's Bucket Brigade, but like,
it's JFET by buffering as well. So like, it's premium in terms of like what it's built on.
Yeah, but it's only got 2 knobs. I mean, I'm just kidding.
Are you doing pedal math right now?
Yeah, you got $229 divided by 2 knobs times 0.04195.
Yeah, your dollars per knob value is a little rough, right?
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's a wider enclosure than we're probably used to. So it's a unique shape. It is top mounted jacks.
Yeah. Okay. I mean.
Go ahead.
Nothing. I just
like I can audibly hear you bite your tongue right now. So like.
I don't feel like top mounted jacks is a selling point anymore. To me, it's not. Like I get like some people it might be, but like
I mean, a pedal this wide it works. Now you have enough width in your so you're not stepping on the pedal next to it.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of like a BBE pedal. The look of it. The size is if you remember the big box BBE, like the Booster Grande and all that.
Is that not what it's alluding to?
Is it?
Isn't BBE a Japanese company?
I don't think no, that's not the chorus because BBE wasn't known for a chorus.
No,
that's not alluding to BBE. I don't think so.
Oh no, BBE is headquartered in California. I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, and BBE is. I mean, the Sonic Maximizer is not that old. I mean, it's the 90s.
I mean, but it is like it does look a lot like the Sonic Stomp when you actually. Yeah. Now that you mentioned it.
Yeah, I think it's just the same. I think it's probably just the same exact box size, but the font kind of reminds me of the
I get MXR vibes from it. Am I wrong? What am I thinking of?
I
don't know, but like we got so much gear, we should move in here just because.
Stop! You know. We need to stop staring at this pedal. Just trying to remember. What does this remind me of? All right, so $229. Not horrible because it does have premium components and stuff in it. But speaking of premium, Thorpe FX launches scaled down version of the Dane pedal for its 5-year anniversary. Thorpe's only been around for 5 years?
No, the Dane pedal has been around for 5 years.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. Like that doesn't sound right.
It's actually a much smaller enclosure than I expected. Well, sorry. What I was I like combined 2 thoughts in my head while I was speaking. I didn't realize the Dane has been around for 5 years.
Yeah.
That's much longer than I thought. I mean, the Dane was a Klon, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
So they've added a heavier clipping mode. To switch there's also now an option to switch the boost from standard DP Danish Pete clipping to heavier clipping. They're retiring the Mark 1.
Okay.
So it will only be the smaller version. The Thorpe says the heavy clipping option is similar to the second channel of the heavy water pedal, offering extra grit should it be needed. It's still not cheap, but Thorpe pedals never were. So at 264 pounds, which translates into $332 American. That's with VAT though. So like if you go to Thorpe's website directly, you can get it for $384. Now there's probably shipping on top of that. That probably makes it more, but it's there. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway.
Actually, is this pedal now more similar to what's his face?
Greenchild?
Yeah. Looks more like the Greenchild ones now, which, you know, the look started first, but
yeah.
Anyway. Now, for quickly hyped, but then kind of quickly fell off the map, Universal Audio has come out with a line of single effects in the single size. So they've done their multi-effects range where they had like the Starlight, anyway.
Yeah.
So now there's 4 new ones. There's the 1176 Studio Compressor, the Heavenly Plate Reverb, the Evermore Studio Reverb, and the Orion Tape Echo.
All right, so the Orion Tape Echo, if you look at the design, you see the circles? Totally looks like the Keeley pedal.
Yes, it does. It gives very similar vibes.
Like when I saw it, my brain went straight to the Keeley Echoes. Yeah. Is it the Echoes or no, it's the other what's that one?
Wasn't it an Andy Timmons like delay pedal?
Yeah, I can't believe I can't remember exactly what the Halo.
Yes.
Yep, because it's got the 0 with the circles around it.
Yep. 2
circles around it, same thing.
Very similar look. Now, I think the most exciting one of the bunch to me is that the 1176 only comes in at $199. So this is now, I think, the cheapest 1176 style compressor.
Which is crazy that it's UA with the cheapest one.
Yeah,
well, nothing against UA, but they're usually a premium priced pedal company or just product.
It is. Now, I believe this is a digital 1176 versus like a true optical.
Yes. Okay.
So if you're like, no, it has to have the real components and the true optical, yada yada yada, you're still looking at an Origin Effects, like that level of price point. Because their bigger compressor that had the 1176, the LA2A, and that other one, I think it was a Ross style compressor, all in one box. Those were all digital as well.
Okay.
But having said that, that gives you this style of effect, and also really cool. It comes with a few different modes. So it does the single, dual, and sustain. So it can do that stacked 2 1176s into each other. So if you were thinking about picking up slide, that's really big with like slide players and those kind of guys, which is why like Origin makes a stacked double 1176 pedal. So that's pretty cool. All the other pedals come in at $219. So I just lost Diaz on the call. Hey, he's back.
Yeah.
What happened?
Laptop acted up.
Okay. So. All right. Well, diving back in. So you've got the Tape Echo trying to do the EP3 Echoplex kind of thing. It
also has the cool. Did you talk about because it actually has where you can turn the preamp on and off.
Oh, nice.
And you can do true bypass or trails.
I love that.
Like that's pretty cool. Like,
yeah, the Heavenly is a plate reverb. Born out of their Golden Reverberator plugin. So,
yeah,
true bypass, analog drive through. What else we got in there? I don't know. The Studio Reverb is based on iconic 70s vintage digital hardware. So I mean,
the good thing is it seems like UA's just really gotten the Keeley thing down, where it's the same thing. They're just changing the algorithm in it.
And well, so this is them simplifying their algorithms and getting them into an easy digital form factor, which probably means you'll see tons of releases on this then.
Well, I'm just saying
On this
because all the pedals are the same,
Mhm.
casing, knobs, layouts, switches, everything.
Yeah.
So they're just literally, I mean, because that's the thing that like there was a time when Keeley was just like coming out with pedal after pedal after pedal, and like it was just that they've got it where they can start knocking stuff out.
When you think about it, like this is what TC Electronics did,
Mm-hmm.
where they kind of had a form factor and they just kept going with it. Strymon did this too, so I'm looking forward to seeing more of this. And I also like that they're getting now and down in a price point and feature wise where I'm not getting as upset with them as I was with their bigger stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Where like the noticeable omission of like MIDI, and how they handle stereo and all those kind of things. Here it's like, no, these are mono simple effects. We're good with it. Now I might be misspeaking. These might do stereo and I'm just not realizing it.
I
TRS,
don't think
but
they do.
I think they're mono. So cool.
Yeah,
cool.
I feel like if it was stereo, we would know that. So
yeah, you think you'd see it mentioned somewhere in the whole release, but anyway, here we are.
Yeah. All right, let's keep moving. This next pedal is super cool. And super cool pedals. It's the Thneed, which is a Klon. I'm guessing. I mean, is this a KTR style? Because it's got the three.
Well, so a KTR and a KTR and a Centaur are the same circuit. They're just in different formats.
Okay.
There's no internal charge pump.
Okay.
So it's actually, I believe, a 9-volt circuit instead of doing the internal 18.
The serial number's really cool.
Yeah, the treble knob is a little bit different.
Yeah. Did we even talk about the artwork?
No, it has very Dr. Seuss inspired artwork.
So it's Dr. Seuss inspired artwork, has the same plants and looking stuff, like the trees look weird. The serial numbers are LRX-002 on the pedal they're showing.
Oh, so Lorax?
Yep.
Love that.
That's why I was like, the serial numbers really cool. Like that's cool. You can change it from true bypass to buffered bypass.
Very cool.
Inside with switches, there's dip switches inside. This is I like this because this is a pedal release and it has a gut shot.
Yeah. So it has an extra switch that's called Unless. And what that is all about is changing the bass contour of the pedal in different modes. There are 3 different types of diodes instead of the magic diodes. Just to kind of with how it clips and works and whatnot. It's also from a Canadian pedal builder, so it is not that expensive.
It's 200 Canadian.
Yeah, so that's like what, $10?
What? How much is it now? Isn't Canadian like not too much more?
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad at one point.
Oh, okay.
219 Canadian is 161 US dollars today.
But you probably have to add some sort of VAT or customs.
You might have to pay duty.
Duty.
Yep. But anyway, pretty affordable. If you're curious and want to go check it out, go check out Super Cool Pedals.
Sorry, I can't go to dinner tonight. I had to pay duty. All right, anywho, I'm done. All right, we're on to guitars. We made it through.
We're on to guitars, and guitars should go quick. There are new finishes for the Les Paul Standard in 2023. They're now offering plain top and figured top versions of the standard 50s. I like that plain top Les Pauls are coming back. To be honest with you, like a white or like a black or a red. There's some cool colors in there. Pelham blue is included in that.
Woo!
The 60s also is doing figured in plain tops as well. So again, I believe. So on the plain tops again, we have classic white, ebony, cardinal red, sparkling burgundy, Inverness green, and Pelham blue. And that's the standards coming in at $2,800. And then at the figured top comes in at $3,000, and that gives you the bursts. So you get the cherry, blueberry burst, amber, honey amber, ocean blue, translucent fuchsia, and translucent oxblood. So that's the color range for 2023 and on. It's a Les Paul standard. You know what it is. So there you go. No gold.
All right. Sorry, I'm tired. I'm ready. Let's
Did the wave hit you?
Dude, I'm exhausted.
All right. I'm kind of tired of the Adam Jones limited editions from Epiphone. I'm losing interest in each given one. They launched another one. This is the 5th out of the 7 that they announced, and it's people laying in a bed.
Yeah,
it's weird. I'm not vibing with it.
Canned artsy. But okay, yeah, it's cool. I mean, or whatever. Yeah, like I said, it's getting fucking old. So we get it. As much as I love the Adam Jones signatures.
Well, you know, something I haven't seen before is what Schecter is coming out with, the Sunset Triad, where it's a tri-coil pickup.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Well, there you go. So it's like a three single builds together. Yeah. So I guess it hums. It's got a 5-way switch, so you're kind of doing different kind of combinations of the pickups.
Well, you know, it's 2023. You can do whatever you want.
So this is $899, which is kind of middle of the road for Schecter, or actually kind of might be on the lower side of Schecter these days.
I think it's actually, yeah. I think most Schecters, like usually, like their standard stuff is sitting around 1,000.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty on par.
So that's fine.
I like the inlays. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you can check that out. Celebrating their 20th anniversary together, which is crazy to think it's been this long. John Mayer and Martin have come out with 2 new anniversary acoustics. So there is an OM28JM model and an there's an OMJM and an OM45. These both feature a silver burst front-facing finish, which I honestly really like the look of until you get a side view of it. Because like it looks great up into the binding, and then they don't do any. It's still natural wood on the sides, and so then it just starts looking funny. Like I kind of wish they did like a translucent black or something on it to make it work.
Well, I mean, this does seem very John Mayer-ish, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's wearing a fucking poncho on an album cover.
So the high-end version is $18,499.
Yeah.
So good luck. It will probably appreciate in price too because it's a limited edition John Mayer, yada yada yada. The OMJM is a bit coming in at $4,000, which is probably about $500 to $1,000 more than the normal version. With a Fishman Gold Plus natural electronics instead of the whatever they normally come with. I didn't have a pickup in my Martin when I bought it, so I don't remember. Anyway, that's John Mayer guitar news.
It's enough John Mayer.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's still one of my favorite Family Guy moments. Because that was so fucking early in his career, too. Well, I mean, that's probably around the Gravity time. Maybe a little after. Yeah. That's enough John Mayer.
Yeah. You know what I also have enough of? The Fender Acoustic California series.
Yeah, Fender. Like, fucking stop trying to make acoustics, dude. Usually not great.
I can't use guitars, man. The strap pin is in the robot. Like so many things. These. So this is more of acoustic guitars with Fender Strat headstock.
Yep.
Get your color combos. They're all like $900 to like $400 and anything in between. It's just new colors. I can't. I'm moving on.
We don't fucking care, Fender.
No.
The rules. No.
There we go. I can hear again. Diaz, you still there?
Yep, I'm here. I
Okay.
thought text you and say, okay, where did you go?
Yeah, my audio card just like clipped out for a minute.
Okay.
Now, this next thing I know you want.
No.
You don't want the Bill Gibbons Magnetone?
Nope.
I would have figured you'd be all over this.
Nope. I'm not that huge of a ZZ Top fan. I mean, I enjoy them and I do like Billy F. Gibbons, but like, I don't know. Honestly, the Magnetone price, I'd be happy to have it.
Yeah, so this is the Billy Gibbons Super 59. They're only doing 6 of them, so good luck. You're not buying one. It's just not happening. And in this silver crocodile style.
Yeah, it looks kind of cool. I mean, I like it. So I do Magnetone. I love the look of it like that because it reminds me of the Wonders, that thing you do.
Oh, really?
Yep, it reminds me of the record label. I forgot what it was called. Playtone.
Okay, that's not ringing a bell for me at all, but all I see is a pair of boots that match.
Did you hold on? Did you not watch That Thing You Do?
Diaz, we make you do references every other episode. Do you think I haven't seen?
So how do you forget the Playtone logo? It was all over.
You laser in on really obscure things sometimes.
All right, okay, all right. I can. You know what? That's fair. Totally, like, not even gonna argue with that.
Now it's been like 10 years since I've watched the movie.
Okay, that's it too. I mean, I watch it, every few months at least.
Yeah, if there's a Tom Hanks movie, it's Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can is an amazing movie.
Yep.
Is that a Scorsese movie?
I believe it is.
I think it is. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Anyway, going back to this thing so we can wrap this up.
7,000.
Yikes.
Yes.
It's not crazy for a signature amp.
It's 7,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that crazy for a signature amp these days from like a boutique company.
Talk about how heavy it is.
Oh. No,
it's 7,000 pounds.
I'm not making that joke. I'm not. Stop trying.
But it's 7,000 pounds.
What's it in kilograms?
All right, we'll keep moving. You know what? I dig it. It's not something that, like, even like in the wildest things, it's not like an amp that I really want.
That's fair.
It is something that I think is pretty cool. Like, I respect F. Gibbons quite a bit. If there's any Billy F. Gibbons like gear that I want, like signature gear, I want his Fuzz. It's got sliders on it, I think. Is that the one that has sliders? Or no, that has.
You're thinking of either the Alpha Haunt or the one you sent me over the weekend, which we didn't talk about. Shoot.
Let's get to it. It does. The MXR Billy Gibbons signature fuzz.
Oh, has fuzz. I didn't know it had faders on it.
It has a 7-band EQ on it.
Nice.
But it looks cool.
Okay. Well, speaking of cool, in Gibson milking everything that they can out of the Greenie guitar that they've been around, they've released the pickup set from it as a available set. And now the reason I'm saying this is actually kind of cool is the price tag is $300 for Gibson amps.
Oh wow. Yeah. This is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
So, has there ever been a set of pickups that were dedicated to a guitar and not the player?
I think this is a unique one, because this guitar is famous in its own right because it's been through so many different people.
So many different famous people.
Yeah. And there are other PAFs of like a specific guitar.
Are there?
Yeah.
Like, but I'm talking about that it's actually advertised as this guitar's pickups, not this artist's pickups.
I mean, as far as recreations of like a specific guitar, I guarantee you they're just not coming to my brain really quickly here. But if
you listen to episodes, go to the group and tell us if you can think of it.
Isn't the Appetite for Destruction ones based on his old / his like originals? Isn't that a specific one?
Yeah, I guess that would kind of fall into that.
And then there's like just some of the recreation, like Bernie Marsden's Les Paul, I believe, has a signature pickup for it. I don't think you can buy them, but
right. But that's what I'm talking about. Advertised as a signature for this specific guitar.
Yeah, I mean, like, because they had signature wound ones for them when the custom shop did them.
But that was the whole thing, though. Like, I even think with like Slash pickups, they're like Slash pickups. That even though they, the description is based off of, this is based off the guitar from this album. But it's still advertised like a Slash's pickups, or even the Appetite for Destruction pickups. I don't think that's the only guitar he used on the album.
No. I mean, there's the John Mayer's Big Dipper pickups are a signature based on a specific guitar. But
they're John Mayer's pickups, and the Big Dippers,
and they never sold them individually. Just packaged them as the guitar. And it was like all part of one thing. So yeah, it is a unique offering.
I think it's just very different. I don't like. Yeah,
I'll also
it's cool though.
But again, I also push the like if you go and you try to buy a pair of Seymour Duncan PAFs, you're looking at $300 too. So I mean, Gibson's not asking for an outrageous amount of money here.
I think that's the one thing that I would say is the easiest thing about this is because part of the lore of Greenie
was the miswired thing. Yeah, the out of phase thing.
Out of phase, which apparently at some point that was actually fixed, but they left it with the pole pieces facing that way because changing where the pole pieces are doesn't put it in or out of phase.
Mm-hmm.
So, anywho, all right, let's keep going.
So
we're doing good. Doing good.
Seymour Duncan has released a new P90 silencer pickup headlined by Jared James Nichols.
I fucking love this guitar.
So it's a silent P90. So Jared James Nichols does the single P90 and a dog ear on a Les Paul style.
It looks so tiny. The guitar, like I don't know if he's a big guy or if that's a smaller, like just with the one pickup and the two knobs. I dig that. I still dig that guitar. We talked about that guitar whenever it came out, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So this comes as individuals or pair models. There's also a hot version, and there's also a Jared James Nichols version. So the Jared James Nichols version comes in at $149, and the rest are at $139. Pretty affordable. I would also say I don't know. I'm sure they did a P90 stack before. But there's not a lot of silent P90s on the market, so this is pretty cool to see. So actually works of 3 coils, 1 large coil in the center and 2 outrigger coils on either side. So that's how they're doing the hum canceling. Interesting. So it's not a stacked pickup. It's a different way of doing a pickup. So it'll sound pretty cool.
Yeah, very interesting. All right. This is a pickup week.
There's a lot of pickups this time.
Or weeks. Kramer's Eruption humbucker comes to ball Eddie Van Halen's iconic guitar tone with the help of his former luthier Jim DeCola. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the eruption guitar,
No, stop.
sort of.
Don't try to do that thing. Don't try to do that.
No.
No. Now you're just trying to make it a thing.
What?
Mm-mm.
Are you talking about like trying to recreate the sound, the thing that we were talking about earlier?
The guitar more than the player.
Well, this is sort of going after the
Well,
guitar.
he changed the pickup on the Frankenstein numerous times.
Yeah, so it's
this is more
hard.
like a general channeling of the sound.
Okay.
So, okay.
Well,
Yeah,
it's actually speculating. Given the eruption tag, it's probably safe to say it's based on the Gibson PAF or perhaps the later Seymour Duncan swap. So like even they're not saying specifically, they're trying to.
Right.
It's Alnico 5 magnets, 4 wire leads for coil splitting, and it's got the zebra. And it's available in zebra and double black finishes.
Okay. Hello.
So.
Mm-hmm. All right. So here, let's talk about let's get white and nerdy.
Okay, so some quick things. Focusrite Scarletts are now on their 4th generation. They've upgraded the preamps for more dynamic range, which is something Scarletts have always kind of struggled with. So you're going to see clearance on all of the old ones, and these new ones come out. That's all I'm really going to say about them. I mean, they've now got an auto gain feature in some of the higher end ones that prevents clipping and some other kind of things that are supposed to make it easier on you, but you probably shouldn't be using because anyway. iRig Multimedia has upgraded the iRig to the iRig HD X. That's a if you want to plug your guitar in and use some amplitude or tone X off your phone or those kind of things. So that they're upgrading that one in place. It now does USB-C. Hopefully the iPhone does now pretty soon too, so it comes in a little easier. That's $129. And then finally, Universal Audio has updated the Apollo Twin X so that it's the USB version. So those of us that, particularly on the Windows side of the world, who don't have a Thunderbolt port, can now use that with the plugins and the onboard DSP and all the things that Apollo Twins have historically offered. So there you go. That's the quick rundown of all the new audio interfaces that are out there.
Okay.
All right.
So I tried to text you.
Yeah, I saw it after you dropped off.
Yeah. So my laptop, there's a short or something in it, so it will not start charging whenever it's turned on. So, like if the laptop's on and I plug in the power supply, it will not charge. But if it's turned off and I plug in the power supply, it'll charge and I can turn it on and run off of the power supply.
Is this your work computer?
Yep.
Man.
I just don't feel like dealing with it. I mean, so yeah, so apparently someone unplugged the laptop and it was about to die. And then Sarah Beth came out, so I was like, I need a few minutes.
Okay.
So are we paused or are you still just recording?
Oh, I just leave it and I'll edit it out.
Oh, okay. Well, I figured pausing might be easier than editing it out. So
yeah. We're good to go.
All right. So we're going to talk about the Twin X.
I already did.
Okay. All right. So now we're on the topic.
We're on the topic.
Okay. All right. Are we doing both or just one?
Whatever you want to do.
It's your choice. You know more about this. We'll talk about the first one and see how we feel.
Okay. Do you want to introduce it or you want me to do it?
You do it. So I'll preface it.
Okay.
Apparently there was some drama that just had to happen, it seems like. Pretty much a YouTube vlogger, someone or other, KDH, brought out information you can explain more, but like, yeah, it just didn't need to happen. It seems crazy.
So I actually disagree that it didn't need to happen. I just don't like the way it did happen. But
I don't.
so KDH is a YouTube channel. He does YouTube demos of stuff, and he also really loves to amplify drama, or like report on the drama is usually kind of how I think he would refer to himself, and tries to do his research and gets all the things together. Now, I mean, it's a YouTuber, you know, it's not the New York Times, and there's different standards for what YouTubers report on than, a real newspaper does, you know? But so one of the most recent one that he dove into is that, is Lee Anderton affiliated with Victory Amps beyond just the feature, how heavily they featured them on their channel and promote them, and essentially trying to dive into and verify whether Lee Anderton is an owner or a partner in Victory Amplifiers, which has turned out he was an investor, one of the initial investors in it, even though apparently he's not part of the day-to-day. This has forced Anderton Lee to post a message on his website describing his affiliation with the company and why he chose to try to keep that a secret. And there's speculation as to whether this is illegal or not based on disclosure laws. Because like when like they're featuring Chapman guitars on the Andertons channel, they're always saying like, oh, by the way, we're affiliated with them. Or like I'm personally affiliated with them. Or he has been very quiet with Victory Amps, and that's the part that I would say was the necessary side of like if he is an investor, he should be declaring it. However, this is about the appropriate amount of energy that I'd give it of saying, Lee, if you're an investor in this company, just say you are. It's fine.
Yeah.
Because if he's not part of the day-to-day, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean,
or there's less guilt or like alleged bias in that. I mean, if he was like going up and like doing all these videos where he's like, here's the Victory Sheriff and this is why it destroys all the rest of the competition all the time.
That's kind of where I'm sitting on the, I don't think it's had to happen, especially the way it did. Maybe, did it need to be known that Anderton, was like financially invested in the company? Honestly, though, I haven't watched a ton of their videos, and I know Victory Amps will be found in there, but like I don't, like you said, I don't think there's ever been the time where they're like, oh, it destroys every other thing, and they're saying it like as an unbiased review.
Yeah, and I think that's part of why they tried to be quiet about it, was to actually disconnect Andertons and the brand. Because otherwise you'd look at them as is Victory Amps a house brand the same way?
Right.
Or is it a private label, yada, yada, yada. And
just like Chapman Guitars, people are like Chapman Guitars is an Anderton house.
It's actually not, though.
Right, but like it's seen that way a lot of times.
Yeah. And it's been hard for Chapman, frankly, to break away from Andertons.
Yes. But But
it also makes sense why Rabia Massad has a signature amp through them, and Rob Chapman did, and like why it's so cozy with all those personalities beyond just simply a good working relationship. Right. But at the same time, I mean, Rabia is affiliated with so many brands at this point. Yeah, I don't. But it also explains a little bit of like why Victory's had such a hard time kind of penetrating the United States in terms of distribution.
Yeah, I personally don't think that. I mean, I haven't seen specific situations where this would have an effect. Really, like a detrimental effect. Other
than this, just honestly, if there is probably some preferential treatment of why Victory Amps are so heavily featured on. Like, I mean, when they're doing pedal demos and stuff like that, I think Pete Honore is always using a Victory amp or using one very often. So there is that inherent bias that exists, and it's worth declaring. But at the same time, apparently moving forward, they're going to add an extra declaration to Anderton's videos of explaining that he's an investor. So I would say in some ways justice found. I mean, I'm content with it.
I wouldn't use the term justice though.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like the way some of those,
it's not justice.
The
this
outrage
was just,
video kind of thing, or like
this is just pretty much pacification. Like this, you're pacifying people. You're not. This isn't justice. It's just pacifying. It's just getting them to shut the fuck up.
Would justice require some type of like legal action?
I no, justice in my opinion means that there was a significant wrongdoing.
And you're arguing that there isn't a significant wrongdoing.
I don't feel like I feel like no, I really don't.
Okay.
Because like you said, never have you really seen them say, "Oh, this is so much better." I will say the whole thing is Anderton's is really good about just providing the facts, and they give their small opinion of, "Oh, I like this one," but like, how many of their videos have been just like, "All right, we're gonna line them up and let you hear."
Yeah. I mean,
That's
they're kind of famous for doing the blind testing videos. Like that's one of their gimmicks.
And usually, and I don't think I've really seen a negative review from them either.
I've seen things flop.
Yeah, I mean, but
and also, I mean, like the Mesa Cab clone pretty famously flopped in front of them.
Yeah,
if you remember that one.
Well, but it's not like it's okay. They haven't gone on like tirades about stuff. Like
no, because at the end of the day, here's the thing you need to remember about the Andertons channel is they demo gear so that they can sell it.
Sell it. Yep, 100%.
And so everything has to look good on their channel. That's the idea. They're not doing reviews; they're doing demos.
Right.
And like people get all up in arms about the review versus demo of YouTuber, and is this a paid review? Is this not a paid review? You need to treat Andertons as if everything is a paid review or it's a paid demo. It's all supposed to make it look good.
So that's, I mean, yeah, I don't think there was any wrongdoing. So I don't think that there was justice was served. I think that this pacified people who just who didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand. I can understand not liking it. My personal opinion is nothing was terribly. There was no terrible wrongdoing.
Mm-hmm. And maybe you and I feel a little more less of this, partly because we're not really Anderton's customers either. We just consume their YouTube channel really because we're sitting here under we're in the US, so obviously we're going to Sweetwater or Musician's Friend Guitar Center or one of those kind of people has more of a stranglehold of the actual retail side of where we buy.
Right.
So we're this Chicago Music Exchange doing the same thing. I might feel a little bit different. I honestly might. Versus Anderton's is like the biggest. Aren't they the biggest shop in the UK?
Yeah, I don't. If Sweetwater, okay, if Billy Sweetwater,
Chuck Sirac, is the owner of Sweetwater.
Okay, so it doesn't work with my story.
Okay.
All right, fine. If Tom Sweetwater. Instead of Tom Anderton. Okay. If Tom Sweetwater was financially invested in an amp, like an amp brand, and we didn't know that, but they featured it heavily in their like reviews or their demos, I wouldn't fucking care. Because most people who do demos anyways, they only use the amp that they were given by someone or they can afford.
Yeah, and I think everyone will have their like exception for whatever that is, but at the same time, there is a natural process of brands sponsoring and buying out demoers for continuous use.
Yeah, but the whole thing is the only thing that you could like somewhat be bad about is the fact that in that, like think about how much Tom Anderton makes off of every amp sold.
Lee Anderton.
I'm sorry, Lee Anderton.
Well, so that's the other part is Lee Anderton, is he double dipping? Right? So as an owner of a company, he's also getting some of that profits, or as an investor. I don't know what his investment relationship's like, right?
I know,
but he might have invested as seed money and has already been bought out.
That's possible. Or he honestly could not have put in that much. Or think about it, the company could have been diluted down by now.
Yeah, that he's such a minority shareholder that it's like
that's what I'm saying. Like, what if he makes $2 off of every amp sold? If that, But like,
Well, or is it like when we do gear reviews right now? I own Apple stock. Do I need to declare that?
Yeah.
Right? Like, or I own a bunch of different things. I own AMD and Nvidia stock. So like, or those kinds of things. So I need to declare that I have a bias towards AMD because I bought a graphics card by them because I also own stock in them.
Yeah.
I mean, bear in mind, my share of this company is so fractional. It's nothing.
Yeah. But I mean, I like your explanation is a little bit more, like you said, it's smaller, but still, I think that, in my opinion, this guy found something that people might be upset about and tried to see how far he could go. And it's just the fact that people aren't even talking about the fact of the amps. They're talking about the drama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The actual facts of what happened is not what people are entertained by.
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about this guy throwing a fit and then Anderton's reaction, which was very just calculated and factual. And it's like, this is what, yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, like, so Lee Anderton's a businessman.
That's
and a pretty savvy one who's like, he's got a number of irons in the fire where he's kind of, expanded just beyond just a simple shop, and like, good on him for what he's done with that company.
Okay. Here's the whole thing too. Granted, the argument's going to be the fact that Lee Anderton didn't publicly disclose that he had, but watch one episode of Shark Tank and watch how the sharks think. They're like, I'm in this product as well, which would team well with this. And it's like, okay, that is a business person. And I think it's actually a really good example because a lot of these sharks end up being such minority shareholders. They're not in the day-to-day and stuff like that. Hell, I think there's been times where these people have forgotten that they are part owner of this business.
Probably.
And it's like, and it's like, but like the whole thing is they use the different areas that they're invested in to work together to help those brands get built.
Yeah, and so that's an interesting aspect of Anderton's particularly, and Lee Anderton particularly, because he's done a number of private label companies now, right?
Right.
And so there was a list of them. I think so. There's obviously Chapman Guitars. There's these were all listed here at some point, so I'm just stalling till I get to it. East Coast Guitars, Landlord Effects, and a number of them, it's clearly like they're just private labeling another guitar. You know, like you're having World Music or Cort or somebody, Cortec, build you the guitars and put a private label on it, then you're marketing and selling and warehousing it. And that's the way a lot of guitar companies actually exist. And so, like, I'm not pointing the finger at them and exclusively saying that.
And even then, though, it's not also just rebranding a guitar. A lot of times, it can be
specifying it. Yeah,
they make small modifications and specifications. Just like, I mean, we were talking about this in the pre-up or during. Right now, we're talking about it, or we've already just recently talked about, like Kroger brand.
Yes, private label stuff. Yeah.
Private label, was that the pre-up or was that
was pre-up, or that was pre-up? Like, we didn't even record that part. So we were talking beforehand, pre-up. That's a whole nother tier. You have to move in with me. But they private labels and just rebranding. You go to Kroger and they, there's not a factory of Kroger making cereal. They're using a co-packer. Kirkland is like that too. I mean, like everything Kirkland brands at Costco, you go to the Kirkland brand this and you look at the back label and it's another brand made it for you.
Well, and it's like there's a factory that's making this, and usually what happens is like if you're getting off-brand Captain Crunch, it's made in the same factory as Captain Crunch, but they've ever so slightly changed the recipe or do something slightly different. Because usually what happens is this: the co-packer gets the big brand. They get I'm going to just use Captain Crunch. They get Captain Crunch. Captain Crunch approaches them, says, "Hey, we want you to make this for us. We need to use your facility to make this." And so they make it, and they're like, okay, we'll make it. And they're like, oh, well, you can't, make our recipe for anyone else. And they're like, well, we won't make your recipe for anyone else. But they have the recipe and they're able to slightly change it. Just like whenever you get some of these like Chinese off-brand things where it's like exactly the same thing, but just a little different. It's the factory that already makes the original, just changing it a little bit and making it for you. So that's, what happens with these guitar companies, guitar factories.
I mean, famously, there's only a few guitar factories in the world.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, but there's
and then sometimes, an Epiphone bridge finds its way onto a Squier guitar,
Oh my gosh. All right. Speaking of Fender and all that stuff, well, you said Squier, but it's close enough, I guess. There's one more topic.
Oh, I wanted to close out this topic actually real quick. Even-headed result or an objective looking at things is the way to be, and the internet all too often gets like looking for like an evil net or evil conspiracy or those kind of things, and this is not it. And stop living your life that way. That's all I can say. Like,
I don't think Lee Anderton is like a millionaire now because he invested in Victory amps and used Andertons to show it.
I mean, he might have made some decent money on it.
I'm not saying he didn't make decent money.
Yeah.
I'm saying though, I don't think, but it's like, I don't know.
I mean, Chuck Sirach, the guy who owns Sweetwater, has money. He does really well. He has a helicopter company, for crying out loud.
Oh, that's right. You did say Anderson's was like the Sweetwater of the UK.
Yeah, I guess Thomann is really the Sweetwater of the UK.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Does Billy Sweetwater, do you think he made all his money at Orlando or whenever he moved to LA? Do you get that?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Is that a Disney foot joke?
No, it's a basketball joke.
Oh, okay.
Whenever he said, do you think Shaq made all his money in Orlando or whenever he went to LA? They're like, Shaq made all his money in college. Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry. It's a kind of a random thing.
That is a random thing. Other piece of news that just came out, Fender has finally admitted that they had to downscale, like from an official standpoint. So there's been a few interviews out there talking about how the bubble has burst on new gear for them. And that in 2022 they had to cancel. They had over $100 million in sales canceled on them. So those are orders that were already in that then got canceled because the gear bubble is bursting.
Well, here's my question though. So we once again, this is something in the pre-app we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So are these orders that were canceled that were ready to be fulfilled, or were these purchase orders that got canceled that weren't even fulfilled yet?
Probably purchase orders, because if you remember, everything got backlogged really bad.
Right. So that's the whole thing is like, while this sounds like it sounds like, oh, we had $100 million worth of orders and they got canceled. But it's not like you made $100 million worth of guitars that just never got sold.
No, I mean, there was allegations of the big, like the Squier payments that needed to be made.
What was that?
Where like, so the other part you got to remember is how much of Fender's products are imported, right? Even if it's just parts and pieces and manufactured things like that. But also fully assembled guitars from Squier and, those kind of things. And those come in on a shipping container, and we saw all the shipping issues that happened during the pandemic. And what also happened was orders went up during that time because everything was so backlogged. They're like, we need more. And once that demand was satisfied, and also inflation and all the other kind of things, and people leaving the house, and the Fender CEO actually talks about how people started spending money on travel like crazy in 2021 and 2022. And now you're watching the travel industry starting to have some issues too, because
people are tired of traveling.
That's why Southwest is doing companion pass sales right now. They're trying to boost their numbers because their sales are dropping. So you're watching bubbles start to burst right now because we've had a crazy economy of unbalanced things for a while.
Well, I feel like what's real. I mean, I think that just stepping back, big picture, um, the global economy and also a big thing of the United States economy is shifting. Or it feels like it's kind of settling on where we've just had a crazy few years. Like we're kind of going through growing pains.
We got
That
unbalanced.
Yeah, like I feel like right now we're going through growing pains, kind of like with pay scales have increased, but also the cost of living has increased. And I feel like we're just going to have to go through a tough time until we can get settled again and get a new normal, which
Oh
I
man,
hate that term.
you should run for
But
office based on that stump
yeah,
speech you just gave.
well, no, I'm being dead serious. That's just from what I like, and I don't because I don't listen to politicians anymore. Like I stopped really following politics just because it just got too damn depressing. I'd rather just do the ostrich thing.
This is fine.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck's going on. That's why do you think I stay in my apartment all the time? The world is scary. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I feel like we went through just giant, like it's almost like we went through our teenage years financially, where we went through different phases.
Well,
we're gonna finally get into where, okay, this is how it's gonna be for a while. Like
we disrupted the normal economy flow substantially during GameStop was fun. I made money on that.
There's so cryptocurrency, Dogcoin, NFTs.
Cryptocurrency was a fun Ponzi scheme.
But there's so much that like has
the economy's
evolved.
been disrupted multiple times and sent off balance, and it's off balance still. Like there's not a sense of balance.
It honestly, I'm telling you, this is how I feel. It's not until we start learning how we're going to adapt AI into a lot of like careers and business. Once we figure out how we're going to adapt that, I feel like we're going to see a big change one more time, and then we'll start getting used to the new just way of life that we're going to become accustomed to.
Yeah, we'll see if the range in AI development actually. Wow, we're deep topic here now. As someone who uses AI, generative AI, as part of his job now, it's a wonderful additional tool. It does not replace me whatsoever. And so, and that's it in its current formation. It might change and it might develop, and we'll see what happens. But as right now, I mean, there are certain careers where you should be feeling threatened, and you should, instead of sitting there raging about feeling threatened, just to be honest with you, it's time to start thinking about how you're going to adapt and change.
I think it's kind of like the whole time when like there was the big change where people were losing their factory jobs and they were trying to train them how to use computers and technology.
Yeah, that's a jump for people. I think
almost where we're getting to.
Yeah, I mean, this is the classic. Why don't you take the people out of coal mines and teach them how to code, right?
Yep.
And I don't know if those are the same person, but I do think there are people who would happily go to automotive technician school from working in a coal mine, or those kind of careers too. But unfortunately, that also involves people having to move, because you can't have a whole town that was all coal miners suddenly full of auto repair people. Like that's not going to work. So there's no clean, easy answer as much as
we're gonna stumble through. We're gonna go through the growing pains, and at some point we'll finally get out of like this phase in our economy. But right now, it's
I mean, this is the whole Rust Belt conundrum, right? Like there are whole parts of the country that are just like regions are just plagued by this, and the other reality is there's people like me who are part of the creative intellectual economy where an office can be replaced by another office, so you just don't see it or feel it. Like there's a lot of empty offices in Chicago right now, and that's talked about, like 20% vacancy in office buildings or something like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so they're like, are we going to convert these to housing, because we need more housing, and we need more housing, so there's those kind of debates happen, but you don't see empty blocks in Chicago yet of office buildings, so you just don't, we're not feeling the same kind of pressure, it gets replaced by something else. Anyway, we went way off topic. All that to say, Fender has had to make some serious adjustments because that's what happened, and that explains a lot of all the turnover that's happened over there. Also, they make too many models of weird guitars that no one wants. I said it. But yeah, they're doing cool stuff with Squier. Honestly, the Paranormal series of Squier is like the only place I really pay attention at Fender anymore. That and signature models. And
sorry, I was trying to do it. I've got a toddler here.
Go ahead. We can land it. Go ahead.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, guys. Sorry we missed you last week. It was another one of those weeks where it was just like it just wasn't going to happen. So we.
I got COVID.
Yeah. Scott got COVID. I had a lot going on. Like, I think, did you text me?
I texted you and just went, I'm out.
Yeah, you texted me. You're just like, do you want to not do it this week? And I was just like, yep. like when he texted me, I was in the middle of dealing with a work emergency. And I was just like, thank you. Like, oh, heavens. But go check out electromotivesoundco.com. He actually will still be there whenever you go to the website.
Mm-hmm.
So just because we don't do the podcast every week. But anywho,
honestly, at this point, I think our pace going forward, we've done this before, we're probably sitting at every other week.
Yeah.
And two reasons we're doing that. One is better news, so that we don't cover everything. We actually just curate. We've actually been curating and cutting things out more in our scripts, which will also be part of our pre-eps now. Will be us cutting and talking about some of the stuff that we cut. So that's another incentive to get on the Patreon train and become part of the pre-eps that you get at any tier.
And also the fact that Scott and I... Sarah Beth, we're trying to tell people about some cool stuff. All right. So okay. But another thing is the fact that Scott and I are friends. We're both very busy people, and
it's getting worse.
It's
getting worse at how busy we are.
Yes. So we talk somewhat in the chat room, which if you support the show at $5 or more, you get into. But also, it means we talk more during the pre-ep. So you get the pre-ep if you donate at any amount. So you can go to patreon.com/The Effects Loop, and you can be a Patreon supporter, just like a bunch of other cool people. Sarah Beth, say hi to the Patreon supporters. Hi. See? And then, but also you can go to theeffectsloop.com. It's got links to everything, including the Patreon, and also to everything else. My brain just shut down.
It's all good. We're done.
All right, guys. Listen, thanks for listening to me struggle these last couple of seconds. Bye.
You think it was just the last couple of seconds?
Oh yeah, no, just in general. Sarah Beth, say bye to all the people. Bye. Say see you later. All right, guys. That's it. That's how we're doing it. Bye.
We have to just keep pushing along. We are one. So let's go.
dictionary. Why is negativity always drawn out? Picture every visualized love. Energized lives together. We undefeated. A plan to make well, there's no gloves needed when we weed into the mindset of achieving and believing in a community that remains happy. Never after. The world should be one. Hate annihilated. Every heart is one. Love again. So,
nobody